still bruised.
So more bruises couldn't hurt. Okay. I told you this already for a previous assignment, but now it's a better example. The idea with my homework is you make the rough draft of your class notes. Poor child. Can you believe that kids volunteer to be my TAs? I have like 11 TAs. And I still need to recruit like 4 more at least. Volunteer. These poor children. These poor children. Love the abuse, I guess. I sure value them. I couldn't do this without them. Okay. See, the thing is that I hated school all along. When I was in high school, as elementary school, I just hated every single day of it. Every day. It sucked for me. And then when I got to college, things were like, oh my God, this is so good. I loved university. University was like the best years of my life. I was like a really good student. Like a big deal good student. And I'd look around and kids would be like totally struggling to like pass 3 classes or whatever, and I'm not smart. But because I triple majored, I had to be really efficient with my time. I think when I was there, the cap was 20 units per quarter, which usually is about 5 classes. But in order to get a triple major in 4 years, you have to go over that limit a bunch. I actually had to petition to take an extra class 4 different quarters, and I also took summer school. So I was like super focused, like really efficient with my time. And I figured out early something that helped me a lot at university, and that's the idea that I use for you. I just structure it a little more. Back when I was in college, I would figure out what they were gonna lecture about, and I'd write as many notes as I could using my book and my reader and other sources. So when I showed up, I had about 90% of the notes, and then when they said something, I could like pay attention until like, wait, that's not in my notes, and I'd either fix my notes, circle my notes, cross off, or add. And I'd look around, and kids would be like trying really hard to take notes, all sweating, like, oh, my head's cramping, and like, they're all stressed about when to go to the bathroom, like stabbing themselves in the eye, like crying. And I was like, nah, bro, you should do your notes at home so you just chill in class. So that's the model for me. The assignment I gave you on the tragedy of the commons is just forcing you to be kind of familiar with stuff, have some things already down on paper, so that when we do the thing in class today, you're not like blank slate. And you know, we can all do a little bit of that, but if that happens in all your classes and you're learning a bunch of new stuff and they're all really detailed tests and it's all like a flood of information, you kind of got to be ready before you get there. So that's my model for school. You've done that homework. I'll talk about some other crap, and then you'll probably add something to those notes, but it'll be easier for you because you already have some stuff behind you. I don't know, I didn't really need that method in high school. I got good grades in high school with very little effort. I mean, I almost dropped out of high school, and then when I decided I wanted to go to college, it was easy to fake it. That's what I meant to say. So I could cheat or use common sense, and it was fine. It was easy. High school was, I'm not saying you need this for high school. I'm saying it's a good way for you to experience what college should what I think will help you the most in college. Yeah?
You think high school's harder now than when you were in high school?
Probably.
Probably.
But I don't know if it's harder academically.
Well, not all these AP classes, do they have AP classes?
How old do you think I am?
Ah,
What about all this paper? Do they have paper?
do they have paper?
Yeah, I had a lot of AP classes.
Oh, I didn't know.
I was a, when I started college, I was 12 units away from being a sophomore.
Whoa.
AP used to be more universally valued. So pretty much if you passed it, you'd get a free class. And now some schools still do that, but there's a lot of other details now. Some schools placement credit, not unit credit. Some schools no credit. Some schools depend on what. Some schools you have to prove that you know stuff by showing them your notes. Yeah, newsflash. But when I was a student, it was more direct. But yeah, I do think that school's very different for you. I think like the competition's a lot higher. There's more of you applying for less college seats. Like your chances are worse than when I was a student. And I feel like I could distinguish myself a little bit more easily. I had like decent SATs and like decent grades. Like I got into college, it didn't seem like I had to jump through hoops and start a nonprofit and juggle chainsaws. So that's it about the stamping the homework. Usually I wouldn't point anything out, we wouldn't talk about it, and in 5 minutes I'd have already taken attendance and you'd have your stuff stamped and you'd be done with your warm-up. I want to show you a couple things. On the back of your syllabus, there's 3 assignments. I think I told you about this yesterday. Did I tell you about the assignments yesterday? 01, 02, 03, every Friday. Some of you say yes and some of you say no. That's confusing.
Does the email address have the school one? Or can I do a personal email?
Come away. I'll show you right now. You will see this. If I can figure out how to do what I want to do here. You, Joseph, do you have secret stuff on your Neo page that people shouldn't see?
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna look at my Neo class as if I were you.
Oh.
Can you tell what I mean by that?
Yeah.
If you look at the back of your syllabus, it says 0.1, join Neo, 0.2, fill out a Google form, 0.3, look this over with a parent and get signatures. If you could please look up here. Those are due this Friday. It also says that on the syllabus itself. I think I mentioned this before, but if not, this is another mention of that. If you have a digital device, you can feel free to photograph one or both of those posters. One of them has remind groups, the other one has the access codes for Neo. When a student sees our page, they get this. I am looking at this as if I were Joseph Blair. I I'd like to show you guys some things because my website has some stuff you should know about. And it came to my attention during period 1 today that my website is broken. For the first time in all the years I've done this, it's not working like it's supposed to. So I was bragging to them how useful it is and how full of features it is, and then my links were broken. I'll see if yours is better. All of my units have all of the attachments. So when they work, you press on this and it downloads a PDF that you can print from anywhere of all the papers in my class. But you can see that there's a broken link right now. I've never encountered this before. I'll get that fixed right away. I just found out a couple hours ago. But normally, all that stuff that I've given you in class is also available on the website. If you're gone at the beginning of a unit, you should be able to log on to your Neo and print out your papers as if you've been here to pick up the papers at the beginning of the unit. If you're away for like a volleyball tournament and one of your homies says, yo, we got a new paper in Apes, you should be able to go on to Neo and find that paper for yourself. I know that you can all take pictures of papers, you can always find spares, but for some of you this is important in case you lose something. I don't usually print duplicate copies, so if I have 150 students, I make 150 papers. So if you already took one and then you lost it, it'd be better for me if you printed one, rather than making me use it. So this is supposed to be all the stuff I gave you. Because of my technology failure this year, it's not working, and I'm sorry about that, but it'll be fixed soon. Here's what I wanted to show you, though. By the way, apparently you got a Thomas Fire update.
Yeah.
That's obviously from last year. Maybe you saw my poison oak experience.
That cracked me up.
Yeah, it cracked me up too. First it was over here, then for one day I couldn't see at all, then this one got better as this one got worse. Then this one started to get better, and I got poison oak in the one place that you really don't want to get poison oak. So I left the Sierra and I drove straight to the emergency room here in Santa Barbara, and my wife drove the kids to the house, and I said, I'm not even going to come home, I just need to go get a steroid shot and see if they can give me some painkillers, because I hadn't slept in a while and it was like really tough to drive and stuff. So I went in and I was like, hey nurse lady, I've got this problem. And she goes, I was like, yeah, I know. I really can't sleep and I'm in a lot of pain and I really need some medicine. She's like, wait a minute. And she thought I gave myself poison oak where the sun don't shine so that I could get drugs. And she wouldn't give them to me. And when people think you're trying to steal drugs, you shouldn't act up, because then that looks like you're trying to steal drugs. So she says, no, you should just use Advil. And I was like, are you effing kidding me? Advil's not going to help with this particular situation. And she goes, well, have you tried Tylenol? And I almost flipped the table. I was like all delirious and like it was really uncomfortable. And so I was like, come on! I need some real medicine. And she's like, should I call security? And I was like, ugh. So she thought I was trying to steal drugs.
Did you end up getting the medicine?
Nope. Here's what I wanted to show you, though. The links out section. You all have this on a cell phone, I believe, the Windows Cascade, so it's at the bottom of the page. On a bigger screen, it's on the side. Let's see here. On a normal screen, it looks like this, and if you make it big enough, it eventually cascades to the bottom. Okay. First of all, YouTube lecture streams. You can search for my channel on YouTube. If you search Apes at SBHS, I think it takes you to this stream. Look at this. If you were gone, you could see me live right now. See, I'm videotaping myself.
Click on it?
Yeah.
Click on it, do it. I want to see it.
Okay. It's got to have a delay, I'm sure, because we have a firewall here at the school. Search Apes at SBHS.
Oh, that's like a...
Look at this. If you were gone, you could see me live. point some things out. The sound quality is always bad. I can't guarantee that we'll remember to videotape. Sometimes we just forget. We've had all kinds of technology failures. I'd say we broadcast maybe 80% in a good year. Our sound quality suffers the noises made near the microphone. Sometimes the wires get disconnected when people sweep or whatever. So every now and then the microphone will be disconnected or something. And we do our best. Here's the lecture from yesterday.
Very, very limited supplies of fresh water on the.
I hate me so much.
Or whatever, or carve my statues to my mom and my.
It is nauseatingly horrible to do this. I need to point something out. They don't have the date. See how one says like a week ago and one says yesterday and one says right now?
You can see when it's uploaded if you just like click on it and scroll down.
Yeah, it's in the metadata, but I can't get that to show on this screen. So you can figure it out. There's probably a bunch of ways. I should warn you that I don't necessarily videotape my announcements. So a lot of times in class, I'll give you announcements for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes, and then I'll start taping. I don't tape labs, I don't tape exams, I don't tape in-class movies. And then of the days that I should be taping, I blow it about 20% of the time. So it's no guarantee, but it's my attempt to try to make it easier to stay up on class. On the other hand, I never remember what I did yesterday. Kids might. For me, it all just blurs together. It's like a boxing match. It just sucks and then it sucks and then it sucks and then it sucks, and then I go home. Questions about that?
Wait, so you're filming right now? Like right now? Oh, that's cool. So we can hear my voice right now.
Hopefully not. A lot of you already heard about this. There's this app called Remind where you get to join a list that I can send messages to. You should really join. There's a single button link on my website, and then you can add yourself in. Or to the phone number 81010, you can text the word at 2019 SBHS. The downside for you is maybe you'll get text messages that you didn't want. The upside is they're almost all for your benefit. I found a typo. I'm postponing an assignment. We had to cancel an extra credit opportunity. I said something wrong in class. I forgot to tell you something important or helpful in class. I don't send like ads for Ray-Bans or whatever. Like they're actually relevant to the course, and they're usually stuff that's helpful. I'd say 95% of the messages are good for everyone to see. Maybe a couple of them don't matter to you, but it's just more text messages. You'll suffer that.
What's the number?
To the number 81010, you send the message at 2019 SBHS.
So I just did that, and then it sends two texts, and then one is another number. Is that your number that's like 484?
No.
Or is that the number through?
So that's their outgoing message service.
Because it said like reply here to contact you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't usually put stuff that you would need to reply to, so it's just a way for me to blast.
I was just wondering if it automatically defaulted.
But no, it doesn't give you my actual number. It's technically anonymous unless you're going through the app when you respond. Depending on whether or not you have the app installed, like I have an app to send you messages, so for me, I get a notifier that Roxy and Paul and Joe and Zoe just joined the group. And then every time one of you sends me a message, it comes up in the Remind app. Zoe sent you a message, and then I get a text message, a green one.
Yeah.
Is that SMS? That says, so I get a copy. For you, you should just be getting one text message from that number every time it's from this class. It's kind of an imperfect system. It's sort of clunky on my end, but I can send you updates on stuff that's relevant to the class. I highly recommend it. It's not for credit. I'm not going to force you to do it. There's another Remind group for the Green Club. My friend Rosie wanted me to tell you about it. The Green Club is run by students, not by me. I'm like the official adult, but I don't actually do anything. And the Green Club does student activities, so they do like lunches down in the garden, like we grow salad stuff down there, so they like pick stuff and eat at lunch down there. They do community events like barbecue and beach sessions or whatever, and they do environmental community service. So you can rack up community service hours and work with environmental organizations. Usually the most well-connected students from this year will run the club next year. So these are kids that are already tied into community stuff. But important detail for you, the Green Club also has community service activities that earn you extra credit in this class. There's instructions in your syllabus. You have to like take a photo and write a paragraph or something. But the punchline is they'll send you a notification that says, yo, this Saturday Arroyo Hondo, 4 points in Jose's class. And it's a lot of points. A single one of their activities is more than a letter grade on an exam. So they'll take your C on the test up to a B+ on the test if you do that activity. It's very worth your time. Hand about that? Question about that?
I typed in 2019 SBHS and it put me in a SB Wellness Connect instead of this class.
Did you put the at 201 on SBHS?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe all caps or not all caps?
No.
Doesn't matter, right? Yeah. 2018 or 2019? Oh, maybe you suck. Okay.
We're good.
Got it. Anybody else? Other questions? The one for the Green Club is the same idea. To the number 81010, you send a message that says at 2019, the letter G, club. And I tell you what, these things are just a way for you to like do better in the class, and you can always drop out later if it's a hassle, but I think we sent like, I don't know, 44 messages all year last year in the Apes one, and I think we sent like, I don't know, 15 messages in the Green Club. Like it's not excessive. Oh, and I've tried to turn off the student-to-student stuff, so you're there anonymously. I will see your Remind identity, so however your phone is registered or your Remind account is registered. Like I know I can find you that way. But other students, I don't think can send you messages. Like if you're hiding from your ex-lover or whatever, like I don't think that's in there. Okay. Next, check this out. Assignment 0.2 is to complete the personal information Google form. You follow that link, it takes you to a Google Doc. When you enter your information, this will automatically populate my spreadsheet. So now if I need to reach your mommy or daddy for an emergency or whatever, I know which period you're in, I know your cell phone and your email, and if I find your phone in class or something, I can send you an email. Again, I can already get all this information because I'm a teacher and you're a student, but this is a lot easier for me, so please do complete that. It's a homework assignment. And finally, please look at this. The last of the links out is the review book that I recommend on Amazon. It's $20. You don't absolutely need it. If you have a financial problem, please see me. I have a few that I can give you. Check this out. Unlike the ETS, Princeton Review BS, this is written specifically for your textbook. Once you skip the practice tests and the generic intro, that's a perfect set of notes for your class. Like they use mostly the same vocab, they use a lot of the same diagrams, they have a lot of the same policy. So like, I have a thing about the impact of dams and they've got like a chapter of notes, I mean a paragraph of notes on the impact of dams. And like it's really handy and it doesn't have a lot of BS. And students have used this for like 15 years now, and I swear it's really good. Like some of you don't care about the AP test, you don't really care about your grades, and that's fine. But for kids who want to like try as hard as possible, this really helps. It's just another source. So if you miss class, it's got good notes. If your notes suck, it's got good notes. If you and a buddy want to study off something different than what you wrote, this is very good for that. It's really condensed. It's $20 and it's on Prime. Again, all that stuff I showed you is in the links out section of my Neo page. So it'll look like that for you, and the links out. Will be at the bottom right. Whatever. Okay. Anybody want to talk more about YouTube, the thing, the remind, the links, anything? We have exactly precisely 1 hour to nail down this tragedy of the commons thing. You're going to want some place to keep some notes organized, maybe on your assignment, maybe on another paper. You're going to definitely want the article, and you're going to need to pack your bags because you're moving. Group 1, the summarizers, will take these 9 desks. Group 2, the literary luminaries, will take these 9 desks. Group 3, the connectors, will take those 9. Group 4, the antagonist, will take those 9 desks. Please move now.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Okay, now, just checking. There's no high stakes for you, but it helps me know where you are. Show me quietly with a thumb symbol if you totally got this. This class is going to waste my time. I nailed it when I read it. Or I'm pretty sure, but I want to double check. Or I don't know what the F.
Wait, what?
That would be one of these.
Oh, the text? No. I'm gonna give it a little side.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you for showing me. Next. I'd like you guys to come to an agreement with your group which summary or which quotes or which connections or which response is the best. And so if you didn't do the assignment, I guess you just sit there. And if you read it, but you just babbled some nonsense, hopefully you can at least participate in conversation. But I'm hoping that most of you actually tried, and if you did, I'll give you about 5-6 minutes. 2 steps. Agree, first of all, on what the tragedy of the commons is. Like, make sure you know what you're saying. And then, who's got the best summary? Who's got the best quotes that show what that is? Who's got the best list of connections if you agree with what the tragedy is? Or who's got the best response if you agree with what the tragedy is? That's 2 steps. In 6 minutes, and I'll give you one last hint. Tragedy of the commons has nothing to do with population.
What?
Population is another problem, but that's not what the tragedy of the commons is. Okay, we've got 6 minutes. Go.
Yeah.
What did you
I think that was better than I can only win by giving a radical meaning to the word. I think I might change my views.
Was Lucian here today?
The tragedy of the commons is
I didn't get this one, but it seemed very wise. Their defense can be put forward for the view that the world is infinite, or that we do not know
Is Capri here
that
today?
it is not.
Thanks.
That kind of confused me, but it sounded like something.
I got one that says, ruin is the destination towards which all men rush, each pursuing his own best interest in a society that believes in the freedom of the commons.
What page is that?
That's the page 4 of the second one.
Oh wait, there's, what?
Where?
I only chose one.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I really like that.
It's on the back page, and then in the top right where it says 1, 2, it's the paragraph below it, the last sentence.
Oh.
You guys want to
This one?
Yeah. No, the paragraph above that one. Like going to the front, the back side. Like starting on the very first page.
Okay, the back side.
Turn it over, and then
Oh,
I think it's
okay.
right.
I really like that.
Oh, I understand it.
Ruin is the destination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also have, he's talking about Smith and his assertion. He can
contributed to a dominant tendency of thought that has ever since interfered with positive action based on rational analysis, but the tendency to assume that decisions where the individual will in fact know exactly what is very huge.
I have this one. Is it better for a species to be small and habitable or large and pathogenic effects? And
Because of that,
I like it.
their cars causes traffic and contributes to warming.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I got
Do you have like a bigger one?
well, I guess I'm
I'd say you were.
the loss of our no, I think
I like the one that we got, the front one and the one that he said. I got that one too.
Time out! Time out!
I think so.
In this version?
I don't know.
Third request for a timeout. Oh my god. I'm hearing a lot of good stuff. But does anybody want to ask me anything? Yeah.
Why isn't population one of the examples that we can use?
You might be able to use population as a commons, but the tragedy of the commons is not about things that suck. There's a lot of things that suck. Population is a thing that sucks. And Garrett Hardin says, well, the tragedy is even worse given population growth. But the tragedy of the commons is not population growth. And if you want, I can try to convince you of the difference later, but the tragedy of the commons is a thing that happens to things that are commons. Anybody else? You can have another minute because I interrupted you, so we'll go 4 more. Yeah?
do we, for the quotes, did we have to choose one person for all 4 quotes, or do we choose different quotes from 4 different?
You can choose whatever quotes you like.
Okay.
She's got a pretty good quote.
Which one is it? It was...
What page was it?
The last one on that side?
Or it says the laws of our society follow the parents of the and therefore pros to get rid of the
And then we have to elect one person to define the tragedy of the commons.
Yeah, I'm gonna, yeah.
You don't need to select a person.
Okay.
All of you can speak however you, as long as you guys are civil, it's fine.
Sure.
So you're gonna say this?
You don't have like a favorite one you chose? Pass?
I didn't see it. Oh, so what?
The question? I like the question.
You had another good one too, I think.
You sure? But I didn't want to try to. There's one more I didn't say. I think as a without argument or proof that maximizing population is not
even though society should
You repeat that, please.
yeah, the individual benefits as an individual
2 minutes left.
deny the truth, even though society which is
I vote that
That's,
in.
I vote that in. And it wouldn't be so we got two choose.
We should, I mean, we can have the same, I mean, we can have the same one, don't we? I think we should do the first person that we did or this one. Those two are really good.
I like when we use the word responsibility in absence of substantial sanctions. Are we not trying to brown in the comments and actually get the
have to actually understand.
I'm never going to worry about it.
What about just freedom in the commons brings ruin to all?
What?
Freedom in the commons brings ruin to all.
That's like really short.
Literally stuck like 30 minutes on the
Check it. Check it for the next
How do you feel about Robin's test? Is it like, was it pretty hard?
How many of you joined our Remind group for Apes? Please check your phones. I think I just sent you a message.
Should change it.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know.
12:46.
Oh, this one's a good one.
12:46.
As
Yeah,
long as
and then
we make
uncheck
out
that.
automatic rejection of the proposed reform is based on one of the two proposed assumptions. One, that the status quo is perfect, or two, that the choice we face is between reform and no action. If the proposed reform is imperfect, we just is proclaimed to
Wait, I got lost in the beginning.
should take no action at all while we wait for
Wait, what? Start from the beginning.
when we suggest the necessary such change, we either assume the fight of the case. We either assume status quo is perfect, or we find flaw in the change as to, and don't accept change that even would be like an improvement.
Okay, now me.
In technical terms.
It's all cloudy.
So you got yours, you got two?
That one?
I want to read one.
I feel like you should do this one. This is really good. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's great. I was doing the I like this.
Yeah, I have seen that problem. Yeah. Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Okay, now me, please.
Oh no, to find the comments, I said.
No, I'm sorry. Now it's my turn.
Oh, no.
Silence. I will throw glass bottles. Okay. First of all, I fixed those links. So now when you go to the Unit 0 attachments, all the papers are uploaded. I figured out what I did wrong, and I apologize for that hassle. Second, I gotta really warn you about the tragedy of the commons. It's philosophically super important. Second of all, it's gonna show up in university almost whatever you study. It's hard to find a major where it doesn't matter. Third, it is the only thing that has been on every AP test. Like, it is the only thing that's been on there every year since 2009 when they started, 1998 when they started the test. Shows up every year in some form or another. And here's the worst part. I feel like a lot of your high school classes, as long as you're not wrong, it's okay. Some people say like, yo, define the game of football, and you say it is a sport with a ball. And like, well, okay, good enough, kid. Because you're not wrong. But on the AP test, you have to show your depth of understanding. So you might not be wrong, but they don't give you a point unless you're really, really, really right.
So you like back up and stuff?
Yeah, so a lot of kids will say stuff that's like, you know, the classic mistake that kids always make on the AP test, just to give you another example, if they say like, explain why decomposing organic material is problematic for aquatic ecosystems, you say, it's bad for the environment. You're right, but it doesn't show that you know what you're talking about. So that's not good enough.
How does it affect the
So you would need details and depth of understanding. And so here's what I wanted to warn you about. A lot of kids say stuff that's right about tragedy of the commons, but they can't explain it really well. So I gotta warn you, this is one of the hardest things to get in my entire class. That's why I start with it. We gotta get this out of the way. Every one of you is gonna need to understand this. Show me with hands, did talking improve, leave you where you were, or make things worse for you? Oh, okay, that's good. I'd like to start by answering our warm-up. Can someone please tell me, what is a commons? Yeah?
Is it like an open access resource, like a common resource?
Sure, okay. What do you mean by open access?
Like the ocean.
That's an example, but what do you mean by open access? How is the
Meaning
ocean
like,
open
meaning
access?
like anyone, there's no regulation in like who gains from its resources.
Yeah, anybody think of another way to say that? Because I'm okay with that, but maybe we can say it differently.
Shared resources.
Yeah, but there's resources that we share that wouldn't be a commons. And so there's something special about them. Open access is a good way to get at that. So it's shared, but how are they shared?
I said unregulated natural resources open to the public.
Yeah, the unregulated, the idea that you can take or like you have access to it is really important.
and stuff?
So like, land, maybe yes, maybe no.
Yeah.
There's a case where land could be a commons, but you don't have access to my house
Yeah.
unless I want to share it with you.
Same with the ocean, like marine protected areas and stuff.
Fair enough. So the ocean has commons that we can all share and access without regulation. It's open access. But the ocean has things that don't count that way. Does anybody know the two houses of Congress in the United States? The two chambers. In the United States, the Congress has Senate, House of Representatives. Good job, everyone, yes. There are two different ways to represent the interests of the people of all those states. Fine. Now this is for foreigners or people who are worldly. Does anybody know the two chambers of Britain's Congress?
Parliament?
Yeah, the Parliament has two halves. So we call it the Congress, they call it the Parliament. They have the
House of Commons. I forget the other one.
Anybody know the other one? You're totally right. House of Commons and the House of what?
Opposites.
Nope. Oh, this is so good. If somebody has it, it would be a really good launching point.
Oh, I wish.
The House of Commons and the House of Lords. Anybody know what makes you a lord?
Ranks.
That's right, land ownership. So if the lords are those who own land, who are the commoners? People who don't own land. That's right. And this is the best way to talk about commons. Let's start with the literal commons.
So like homeless people and stuff?
Kinda.
Oh.
A commons, singular with an S. I don't know. A1 commons is a chunk of land that is shared by multiple people.
It's like a park.
It's like a park, but it's their home, so like a park where you can live,
Oh, like homeless people.
and it doesn't have regulations. It is open access. So I can show up at the commons, and you can show up at the, you can show up at the commons, and you can show up, and you can come too. And if you want to mow the lawn, well, we can't stop you because we share it without rules. And if you want to light it on fire, dang it, you ruined my book. I'm not really an expert on this history, but it is an important detail. I think that back in the day, lords in England had their own land, and then they would all agree, like, that area over there that's really far or really crappy or really rocky, we'll just leave that for the commoners, the common folk. And so when the Lord and I are talking about our land ownership, we talk about them as the commoners because they live in the commons, which are the pieces of land that are shared without regulation because nobody owns them. There's some really critical terminology. Shared without regulation, nobody owns them. That's really important. And your author, on the 3rd or 4th page of this article, sets up a thought experiment for you. It's a famous math problem. People use this for human behavior, for physical anthropology, for evolutionary psychology, all sorts of stuff. It's a common math problem. It's an old setup. You know how it says page 1 of 13, 2 of 13? I think it's on page 3 of 13, so it's actually the back of the first sheet. At the very bottom, it's written really small. It says page 3 of 13 and 4 of 13. Okay, here's that math problem. Here's that math problem. 4 families share their commons. One day, homeowner A is driving past Home Depot and sees that sheeps are on sale and says, huh, I would like to have a sheeps. So he walks in and he buys a sheep, puts it on the Visa card, comes home to the family and says, check it out guys, I got us a sheep. They spray paint an A on it and they throw it out into the field that they share with their neighbors. Hey neighbor, got a sheep, my name on it, A. Hey neighbor, I threw in the sheep. Let's spray paint that sheep. Okay. That's his sheep. I am no expert on sheep, but we're going to need math here, so can anybody tell me things that are good about owning sheep? Yes.
Fur.
Yes, I think we call it wool.
Wool.
What else?
Milk.
Yes, I believe you can milk sheeps. Because they are mammals, that means that they have mammaries.
Meat.
You can hell of eat them. Guess what I had for dinner last night?
Lamb chop.
Lamb burger.
Wait, does
They
lemon?
eat grass.
They what?
Do they eat grass?
Yes, is that a good thing?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, then mow down the lawn for me so it's easier to golf out there. Tight. You can count them when you're trying to sleep. You can ride them if you are lightweight.
Make them into coats.
You can make them into all sorts of things, punching bags, soccer balls.
Shit.
As a matter of fact, I think you can even snuggle with them because they're warm-blooded. Okay. And in our community here, in our commons, all the good of having a sheep goes to whom? Why A? But don't they share that grass?
The grass of the sheep.
It's branded.
It is. That's spray paint.
Yeah, so that means it's Ace.
So it's his benefit. It's his milk. It's his lamb chops. It's his wool sweater. It's his snuggle time at night. It's also important to point out that you've all said this already. The common resource they share is not the sheep, it's the grass. So, what are things which suck about sheep?
They eat
Smell.
grass.
They eat stuff, they what? Yeah, they poo everywhere, the poo's stinky. They might pee in your water, they might give your children tapeworms.
They're annoying.
They what?
They're annoying.
They're annoying, yes. It's very distracting keeping them. What?
Question.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about this, it seems like the problem is that there's not equal land ownership.
You're getting way ahead of me, but yes, that would be one solution.
Okay, but
Hold that thought for 40 minutes and we'll come back to it. What else?
where is this outside of America happening?
We'll get to that too. We'll get to that one in about 30 minutes. 20 minutes. I got you, fam. We're good. These are good questions. Yes. But I'm a lot slower than you.
Me too.
For a reason. Whatever the things that suck about having that sheep in this commons, here's the problem. Those costs will be borne by everyone who lives there. He might step on some poops, but he can't get any sleep because of their stupid noises at night, and his kids got tapeworms, and his favorite flowers were all eaten. Because this sheep is going to share this commons, the cost is borne by everyone. There's an imbalance here. One key part of your explanation of tragedy of the commons is singular benefit, shared cost.
So if everyone had sheep, it would be fair.
Maybe.
But they
Because
still
at least
get-
at that point, the math would work out. Hold that thought. Homeowner B is like, oh man, it keeps me awake at night, but God, his kids look all well fed, and he's got that cool ass sweater, and I hear them snoring all night, so they must be snuggling. Homeowner B, he sees his neighbor getting pretty stoked, so what's homeowner B gonna do?
Oh, get a sheep.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello?
Siri, why are fire trucks red?
I must have said, hey Siri, hey sees his neighbor getting pretty... Stop! Yeah, this guy sees what's up, and he's going to make the smart move and go down to the Home Depot, get a can of spray paint and a sheep, because now he's going to get some benefits, but of course, it's twice as loud at night. There's twice as many tapeworms in the drinking water. There's twice as much impact on wildflowers. And what was this guy suffering from?
Stepping in poop.
Yeah, this guy's got twice as much poop to step on when he goes out to walk in the morning. You can see how this math will eventually work out. First of all, you don't have to be a genius to see this. But this guy can get benefit enough to probably offset the cost by doing one of his own, which of course makes life worse for everyone around him. And imagine if you're number B. Now, he could be a hero and say, wait, I don't want to make this worse for everyone. But it already sucks for him. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's already lost a bunch of flowers, or he's already stepped in a bunch of poop, or his kids already have tapeworms, or he already can't sleep at night. He's already paying his cost. Because other people have gotten the benefit. So the smart move for him is obvious, and this is why it's so tragic. What's the smart move for him?
Kill all. Kill them all.
So at least now he's got some benefit.
If I was D, I'd kill all.
I mean, without changing the rules here.
Wait, does that like cancel out something?
And then the funny thing is, it's kind of as if we weren't sharing anymore, but since we're sharing, for each person, it's always the same smart choice. I get all the benefit, you're all stuck with the cost. Let me give you another example of a commons, and you'll see what I mean maybe in a different way. We all share a common resource right now, which is a relatively tolerable indoor space in this classroom. It smells kind of bad, but it's not horrible. What if I really have to fart? Like, it would feel so good to let it out. But you're going to pay for it. Trust me, you would pay for it. Oh, would you pay? I ate a lamb burger last night. I don't know if that's bad. I would benefit. None of you would benefit. You'd all suffer. Imagine, by the time all of you have already farted, I'm going to be the hero and not let it out. Like, once it's already horrible in here, I might as well get some benefit. I'm already suffering 26 of your farts or whatever. You writing down the fart math? See, this is the reason that I have a dog. I can fart with reckless abandon and say, I already smelled because of Charlie. No, really, how many times have you heard people say that? Like, don't you feel bad having that humongous car? You're causing all this climate change? I feel like there's already a gazillion cars causing climate change. Like, we all do this. It's not selfish. It's not mean. It's not ignorant. You're already screwed because everybody else is doing it. You might as well get the benefit. I mean, you're damned if you do it, but you're damned if you don't because you're already suffering all the other people's decision. This is why it's a tragedy. Do y'all know that that's what makes a Greek tragedy a tragedy? I don't know if you've read a lot of Shakespeare, but in Shakespeare, the protagonist works really hard to avoid a bad outcome, and then in the end, they always suffer a bad outcome. Sorry, spoiler alert. Like all of Shakespeare. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And at every instance, it's the same. Yeah?
So, like, it's the same thing in vegan, so, like, people don't want to be, people be vegan because they want to save animals, but
Sure.
people eat animals.
Sure. So if the common resource was animal welfare, right? I can ruin that by eating cheeseburgers. My benefit. And now I am deteriorating everybody else's harmony with living animals. Okay? So it's a pretty esoteric common resource, but if we phrase it that way, then yeah, you're right. Like, go ahead, be the hero vegan. I'm gonna get to eat twice as many cheeseburgers. Animal welfare is still being deteriorated, you just don't get to enjoy it. If you phrase the commons as a resource that's being shared by everyone, with an individual benefit but a shared cost, then you could make that argument about veganism. Keep in mind that everybody can still keep playing. So you can make the same decision again tomorrow. Now this guy's ahead again because he's getting more benefit than cost, right? This is just adding more cost to the community, but it's sure piling up his benefit. Think about that decision. This guy doubled his benefit while only growing his cost by 25%. Like, that's really easy math. Do you understand what I mean by that? So at every instance, everybody can still be like, oh, wait, I want to get in on this. And then pretty soon it's just like, and just a bunch of slippery tapeworms and no more flowers everywhere. That's a pretty picture. Anybody ever seen those sheep that get the horrific tapeworm infections? They'll become like 60% tapeworm by body mass. Yeah, it's real. And I really gotta mention something that you may want to write in your notes. It's not greedy, it's not stupid, it's not mean, it's not destructive, it's just rational. I mean, if we assume that everybody gets to see the math just makes sense. Like at every step, that was the right move. And we all do it all the time. You all do it. Like, all of us could ride our bike to school, but given the choice, we'd all rather drive. Here's my case. I live in Goleta. I think I'm 18 miles from here, and I have like 2 hills on the way no matter how I do it, maybe 3 or 4. So yeah, I'm worried about global warming. I don't like climate change. I understand how this works. I am killing the earth when I drive. I'm actually like pretty darn good at explaining how it works. I fully get it. I've got both eyes wide open. But every day I make the exact same decision. Yes, I could be the hero, not add to the problem. Ride my bike. I'd have to wake up about an hour 15 earlier. I would have to probably suffer the muscle changes of recovering my aerobic capacity. Then I would have to ride my bike, which sucks because it's like hard and I'm heavy. I would show up like drenched in sweat after like huffing the exhaust pipe of like every SUV on Cathedral Oaks. I'd be covered in road dust. Be all sticky and like chapped. I'd have to wear some like sweaty ass backpack with all the stuff that I bring. My hands would be all tacky from my gloves or from the grips. And then at like 2:30 when it's 4,000 degrees, I have to go back, only now I get sunburned while sucking on the exhaust pipe of all those SUVs. But I'm a hero. Or I could look at the math, sleep in an hour 15, keep my clothes all pimped, listen to NPR, sip on my coffee, enjoy the air conditioning whenever I want it, limited palm sweat, and yeah, I'm a little part of the climate problem. I don't even have to feel bad. I'm 1.3 billionth of that problem. That's not so bad. Like as a decimal, that's so tiny. 1 out of 1.3 billion cars? I don't even have to be bad about that. There's already the other 1.3 billion a-holes ruining the atmosphere. I can just blend right in. Good luck trying to identify my individual guilt in that humongous problem. And all those benefits come to me. I brought a glass Tupperware full of soup today. Good luck putting that in my backpack. You have questions? We do this all the time. You got other examples for me? Can you think of other commons that we deteriorate by taking our individual benefit out of them, but everybody else shares the cost?
We also said about the cars and like traffic like that.
Oh, traffic, yeah. If the commons is an easy commute, we all have the access, so we all get on the freeway at the same time and ruin it for everybody else, including ourselves. Perfect. Traffic is great. What else? Yeah, exactly. If our commons is a clean atmosphere, we all F it up because we can. Same with water. Who doesn't pee in the pool? You can say whatever you want, but you're swimming in all of our pee, bro.
Really long showers.
Yep. As long as I get mine first. Good luck with your cold shower, honey. Yep. I always shower before my wife is ready to shower. Every time. Because I can. Alright. So let's solve this problem. Oh, does that answer your question about where this happens other than the United States, by the way? So it happens everywhere because it's not just land and sheep? So now we can solve this problem. There are two solutions. These two solutions are the heart of our two American political parties. This is the explanation for government. Does anybody know one way that I could solve this problem?
Kill all the sheep.
Without breaking the rules that we've already set up.
Oh, split up the land.
Split up the land. You're absolutely right. This is one plausible solution. You can see that what that would do is it would let everyone have the consequences of their decisions to themselves. If you want to keep adding sheep, good luck, but you'll have to deal with that. If I don't want any sheep, my prerogative, because of course I don't get any benefit, I don't get any harm, I hate sheep, I like flowers, whatever. And this kind of works. Just so you know, the term for this is privatization. And you know, when a resource is private, you can monetize it and you can share it, so this is kind of at the heart of capitalism. And by the way, this is a perfectly logical solution where you individualize both the cost and the benefit. Does that make sense to everybody? Your benefit, your cost. This is one totally viable answer. Was there a hand about privatization?
Not really. You asked for things.
Oh, and we've got another solution? Yeah. Let me erase the privatization and then you can give me your solution. Children, what if we solved this without fences, instead of individualizing the cost as well as the benefit, we could
government of the four houses could outlaw sheep.
well, coming to an agreement, sure, but without, we'll get back to that, because you can kind of do that. You can kind of do that, but watch, yeah.
Share the benefit?
Yeah. Now please look up. What if you share both the benefit and the cost, like this? Take the letters off the sheep. Then we as a group could decide to not have any, or to have 5, or to have 3, whatever we all thought was best, we share them.
Wait, is there a term for that?
Is there a term for that? Yeah. This is called to socialize the resource. Stuff gets good in a minute, but I want to make sure that everybody saw both of these solutions. To privatize means you make individual the cost as well as the benefit. To socialize means you make a sharing for both the benefit and the cost.
Wouldn't that just never work because everyone would be trying to claim a sheep for themselves?
Well, keep in mind that here you act based on individual choices, because it's your individual resource now. Here you presumably share the resource because you make decisions that share. So you share in the decision and you manage this together. Here's the interesting part. Oh, here's the interesting part. I'm going to make a punchline that I think might capture what some of you are about to say. Neither solution is perfect for all resources. Yeah.
I kind of have a lot to say.
Oh crap, well, we've got a few minutes.
Okay.
I mean, I generally want to hear it, I just hope that we can, I got a couple things I need to say, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, then you should go. And
Sure.
I can just like stay and talk to you and bring it up.
Wicked.
Actually, I can't because it's lunch.
This is not fun. I'm gonna really
But
quickly,
Friday.
also, I'm gonna quickly wrap this up, and then we may have a moment. Let's see. Can anybody imagine a resource that we cannot, practically speaking, privatize?
Air.
Right? Like, if you're gonna drive a car, that's gonna impact me no matter what you choose to do. Right? Y'all realize that? I mean, short of having these like giant hamster wheels where we can't fart, we would basically not be able to privatize the atmosphere. That is, better or worse, a resource that we must share. And so presumably we should all have a say in how that's managed, because my decisions will affect you no matter what we do with that. You can't keep me from hurting you with my atmosphere decisions. If I want to light my trash on fire, that will be bad for you. So A, I can't have freedom to do that anymore, and B, we all should have a say in what the rest of the people are doing with that resource that we share. The ocean, the water moves, the fish move. Right? So privatizing is nice for some stuff, but maybe not nice for others. Can you think of a resource that we can't actually share fairly? There are examples. I'm not. This is not a rhetorical question. Yeah.
Of water. I feel like that. Like, but I feel like, I mean, like overarching, like some countries don't have access to water. I think it's talking more globally than just like.
Yeah. I mean, we're individuals, part of a group. Yeah. I got one for you. All over the world, people don't really share land. Like, how would you share land? Like, you get the place with a nice view for a while, but then tomorrow it's her turn and tomorrow it's his turn. Like, we can't share like the one place that's nice. Like, somebody's got to get stuck with the place that sucks. There's a way to do that fairly. So pretty much everywhere in the world, land is privatized. There's very few exceptions. Now comes my punchline, and then I'll have a few minutes. I think I have about 6 minutes for you. Watch this. We in the United States call these left-wing and right-wing solutions, traditionally Republican and Democrat positions. Globally, there's other terms for this, but basically, all political debate globally can be interpreted as an effort to decide which solution for which resource. If you think that our commonly shared resource is the air, then should we let you do your own things individually and get your own benefit and try to stick you with your own costs, like a carbon tax? Or should we limit your choices by agreeing to limit some of our personal benefits so that we can all get the other benefit? Okay. Check it out. That back and forth is the evolution of government. Garrett Hardin calls it mutually agreed upon coercion, where we are all okay living in a society which has rules about how we share, because we can't share without those rules. For some resources, these rules are better, but not for all of them. For some resources, this rule is better, but not for all of them. Now I think I know what the challenge of the commons is, and I think I get the two solutions, or I kind of got some of that, but I wish this class had taken a break and could reset at some point, or I still have no idea what the hell's going on here. I want to go home.
I'm getting
All right, we'll see about that. We've got 4 minutes. I'm ready for you. Go.
Back up.
Yeah. What can you get out in 4 minutes?
I'm kind of anxious to say this.
Okay, I'm ready for you.
If I
Let's get it over with. Go.
stutter,
Go.
whatever. It's kind of a bigger picture thing, just about the way that I think that this was introduced, and that I can't do it in purpose.
What else? Other people? Thoughts or anything else? Yeah.
Are we gonna hear some of, I think it was group 4, the antagonizing the author? 'Cause I really
Antagonist, did you have anything that you wanted to add? I think many of us are curious to hear your thoughts if you had any.
The only thing I could find is in the second paragraph he said that there could be a solution to nuclear war. I said there couldn't be, because I just don't imagine any powerhouse countries such as Korea or even the United States for that matter wanting to give up their most dangerous weapon in the world that's given all the power. So
yeah, I mean, it seems that evidence is on your side with that. I also think he said that we want a solution to that. I'm not certain that he said we can have a solution.
I said that they settled that there is no solution, and he claimed that he didn't really agree that there wasn't.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, then let me try something out for the last 2 minutes if nobody else has anything to add. I tried, but that's all I'm going to get. I don't like the chaos part, so I don't do the free time for chaos thing. So then let me try the last couple minutes. I want to give you a postulate, okay? Each of you represents a fishing vessel in international waters where we are hunting the last bluefin tuna. There are no rules. We can all take it. Do we agree with this setup? Each of us is a boat. We all have the bait and the hook and the rod and the reel. And we're out to get what we all know is the last bluefin tuna. For the sake of argument, she's fertilized and full of babies and could make more, but she's the last tuna. So we all know that if we take this tuna, it's over.
No, I'm gonna take it and just breed them.
This could be the certain extinction of bluefin tuna, and none of us is stupid or ignorant to that fact. However, we also know that every other boat can take it. We're sharing it freely without rules. Yeah?
Are there still yellowfin tuna?
Yes, there's many.
Alright.
Unless Derek True's dad has his way, in which case he will take every last one of them because he's so good at it. Don't know Derek True? His dad's a homie. Alright. What should I do if I see the last bluefin under my boat?
Catch it.
Take a picture of it.
Catch it.
But wouldn't you call me selfish for ruining it for everybody else? I'm driving the world, I'm driving the last bluefin, and it's gonna be extinct. This majestic animal, delicious food.
No.
No, you'll be famous.
No, catch it. And keep it in a fish tank. Yeah. And breed your own, and then keep the population going. Like a homie. Don't get